Hey, it's all day breakfast. We're
Look at
back.
that. It's
Back
breakfast
from
whenever
break
you're having it.
since our last commercial break. What's up, Alex?
Not much, man. How's your week been? Eventful, I imagine. Lots
Man,
going on.
I have been leaving my home so little. I've started calling Safeway like the neighborhood social club because it's like the only time I interact with people in person anymore.
Yeah, I had an outside gathering, an outdoor gathering with masks on.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
We went skating and I met up with my buddy and he got a new girlfriend since like the quarantine. And
Oh,
we're like met for the first time and we're like chatting and both of us were like, "Oh man, it's nice to know that I didn't forget how to meet people. Like I thought I did."
yeah, yeah. Because you just don't anymore.
Yeah, well, you don't like it's weird. I guess it's kind of like riding a bike, but you don't know like that you're good at socializing because you haven't socialized in so long.
Well, I was thinking about it. Say all the restrictions and everything were lifted tomorrow. Like, would I continue to just chill at home all the time?
Yeah,
Maybe.
well,
I'd leave the house for comedy, but I'd probably just like I'm used to I'm actually starting to like get used to being so fucking bored.
yeah, I think it's also part like because it's winter, so like it sucks. There's nothing at like it's been so cold these last like couple weeks. It
Yeah,
sucks.
that's it hasn't been that bad.
Bro, it was
Man,
like -30 one day, like a couple days.
I tried to go skiing on Monday, but I forgot that like there's nothing to do, so everything's sold out. So I was like, I'm gonna be spontaneous. I'm gonna go skiing, and then every hill in the city was sold out.
Yeah, I had to book. I had to like be an adult. We're going another social gathering. We're going to Banff.
Nice.
Yeah, me and my roommate and our friend who lives alone, who's been our like we've been hanging out, COVID contacting.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
all
Watch
hooked up with
watch
him.
out, man. Don't snitch on yourself.
Yeah, we're being safe. We made sure it's all safe and fine and dandy. So
Nice.
we actually, it was funny. We planned. We're going to go. It's Pete Sender, so he's from America, and so I was like, "Yo, bro, let's go skating and take some pictures on Lake Louise. Americans love that shit." So
Really?
yeah, Americans are gonna eat up that Instagram story. It's gonna be sick. And so we're gonna be skating out on the pond. He's learned to stop. He started skating like this week and he learned to start 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
Learned to stop, so that's pretty good. Okay, I keep seeing like this bump in my hair and I'm like playing with it. Okay, fix it.
Well, I mean, quarantine hasn't been kind to either of us. Yours look better than mine. Mine's, a little bit more messy than it usually is. But my hair usually just like stays in the same formation. I just like push it back. But I figured out not wear the hoodie I've worn every episode and also wear a hat. I
Yeah,
wear so few of my clothes now.
I did my hair today. I've worn it out all day, nice and done, and I shaved. My beard looks good. My neck's
Nice.
all shaved up.
My
I had a
beard's
little
getting kind of
mullet
rough.
going here. Like you guys like that?
Yeah, there you go.
But anyways, back to my story. Yeah, so Pete's gonna go take some pics for the Americans. I think that's listeners. What's your big Instagram go to? I always do outdoor activities. My favorite thing to post on
Mm.
Instagram is like pictures of like being in the mountains or snowboarding or something. That's my favorite like go to Insta brag.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, being in the mountains for sure because
Yeah,
lots
I
of
see a lot of
places.
parties. A lot of people Insta brag like concerts and parties. For me, it's always the mountains.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can never get that good of a picture at a concert
Yeah,
compared to what you can get in the mountains.
honestly, it sucks when you like are looking at the mountains and then you're looking at it through your phone. You're like, this is crazy. You take the picture, then you look at it like without the context of like the rest of the mountain behind it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, they don't even look that big because of the
They don't
there's
even
nothing
look that
else.
big.
But it really is crazy. I think about that every time I go snowboarding, how like blessed I am with some of the like most gorgeous views in the whole world that some people like never get the chance to experience and like from a perspective that most people don't get. Like I've literally hiked the peaks of mountains.
Your mic stopped working, Alex. I guess I'll just have to entertain the people until Alex gets his house in order. I'm gonna go to the mountains by myself.
There we
soon.
go. How
There
much
he
of that
is.
got cut out?
Like about 10 seconds.
Okay, yeah. Well, I was talking about the unique views that you get as a snowboarder,
Yeah.
and like just like literally hiking to the peak of a mountain is such a unique experience that I've taken for granted because I've just been doing it since I was 14. Because when you're 14, you're just like, okay, you go up the chairlift and then you want to go a little higher, so you go. But like since then, I've like kind of matured and been like, oh, look at the majestic views around me.
Yeah.
Look an eagle.
Yeah. Lots of people never go to the or have never been to the mountains like from other parts of the country. And it's like, yeah, I guess this is a crazy
Yeah.
thing that we take for granted.
Or even people that do go to the mountains, you know, they get like the one gondola ride and then they get like their view or whatever. It's like you literally, there's 3 mountain faces when you go to Louise. So that's like 3 different mountain range views from like the inside of like a valley of a mountain. And like Marmot has some of the greatest views I've ever seen because you're kind of in the valley and you can oversee like Jasper and you can see like the shape of the city. And then, yeah, in Banff, you can see like the lodge or you can see like the chateau, sorry, on like the lake from one side of the mountain. So you're just like in the middle of like all this wilderness overlooking like nothing but like mountain ranges. And then in the middle of it is just this like gorgeous emerald lake with an actual castle built on it. And you're like,
Yeah.
this is insane. Like I paid $120 to snowboard all day and get this view and like the freshest air in the world. Like I guess
True.
it's pretty expensive, but it's fucking dope.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna take myself on a little trip soon. So I'm gonna go to a hill in the city to refamiliarize myself.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I skied at all last year.
Yeah.
So I just gotta get back on there. It's the one thing that I always stress out about is getting off the chairlift and like not like getting trapped in some tracks and falling or something. I always stress out so bad about that.
That's so
Ever
funny.
since I was a kid.
Funny. Yeah, I went with Brent Ayton, another comedian, for the first time. We went to Marmot earlier this year, and he was surprisingly good. Like, didn't fall off the chairlift once. I was like, man, that took me so long to learn. Like, just not biffing off the chairlift.
Oh man, I'm glad to hear it's not like a just me thing because I ski or snowboard enough, or traditionally have skied or snowboarded enough to be like good enough to go on like a trip or 2 a year. But
Yeah.
that's been years now. But that was always my Achilles heel. I'd be like, oh fuck, here we go.
Here comes the chairlift. Yeah, the worst for me was because I was a snowboarder and the rope tow, you had to take like the little rope tow up.
Oh man.
And the one rope tow at Rabbit Hill, I ride goofy. And so you have to go like grab it backwards. And so to get to like some of the runs, you have to like grab this rope. And I was so bad when I was a kid at like grabbing it when it was behind me. For some reason, ahead of me, it was fine because I kind of squat down and lean and grab it.
Yeah.
To, like, not just fall straight back when you're like grabbing this rope that tugs you is like the weirdest little thing.
Yeah, man. I remember ski lessons in like elementary school or something, and like being in line forever for the tow rope, and then being like getting there and being like, all right, it's my turn. And then it just like took out the back of my knee and I fell and was super embarrassed. And like,
Man,
I don't even know if it went up the hill after that.
By the time, bro, I like fell in love with snowboarding when I was in grade 5 when I went for the first time. It was like my favorite thing on earth from day one. And so I got like pretty good by the time I was in like, I've probably been about as good as I am since I was like 14 or 15 years old. So like, learn the 360, can hit most of the jumps, do some rails. And then I kind of peaked right about there. But when you're like the good kid and the rest of the class sucks, going on the ski trip is so fucking fun. You're just gonna fuck with everyone. Like someone grabs a rope tow and you can just like jiggle it and like slap it. No one knows what's going on. And they're just like fall down and you just watch them all biff. Or like just spraying kids with snow, or like the teacher's like, hey, you need to slow down. And then you're like, I'm literally just gonna do a trick. And fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually gonna do something really cool instead. I'm better than you with this.
Yeah.
That was the coolest. That was the first time like there was teachers around and like because they're like, oh, you have to do lessons, you have to go on. And I was like, I'm better than all of you. Like me and my 4 friends are the best people on this trip. You can go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
It
Fuck
was sick,
teachers.
man. that was the one time actually we went to Fernie in grade 11 and like it dumped the day we were there, man. Fernie, like the Kootenays have some of the best snow ever. It's like
Oh yeah.
champagne powder. It's a fuck ton of it. It's in like the valley, so they don't get windswept super bad. I really love it. As we went to Fernie and they got a huge dump the first day we were there. So like you had no vision on the mountain and they forced us to take lessons. And I remember we were like, whatever, 15 or 16. And we're like, oh, it's going to be so stupid. Like, lessons are dumb. Like, blah, 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 blah. And then me and my friends went in like the advanced group. And we were like, okay, we're going to whatever. And the guy was like, all right, we're riding Switch down the mountain. Anyone who can't keep up, you're out of the advanced group. Like, you're
Oh
not
wow.
going to be here. So we were like, oh, okay, this is like serious. So we went on like a Switch run down the mountain. And then he kicked a couple guys out of the group and he's like, all right, sick. And then he just took us and showed us like lines through the mountain, like where some cliff drops were and like some natural hits and stuff and like where the best powder was. And then the next day we had like clear skies and like a foot of powder because it dumped all night. And like it was a Tuesday or Wednesday or some shit. So we were there with school. There's like no one else on the mountain. It was like one of the best days of my whole life. It was, I can't believe like how much I love the mountains. There's another time I went with Drew Bay. Me and him were doing Saskatoon gigs. We got booked for callback and we were doing every Friday, Saturday. We were doing like corporate gigs in the Ramada in Saskatoon and they pay like well enough, like they pay good. It was like some of the most money I've ever made. And then I would come home and I would work bartending like the days that I wasn't like in Saskatoon. So it was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday was Saskatoon, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday I was working. So I was making like a bunch of money. And so we are like, yo, let's just take a couple days and go out to Banff. And so we went to Sunshine and we just like smoked so much weed and drank so much liquor. And we had like probably Drew's like the one of the better guys that I've ever like shredded mountains with. And so like we had like the Ski Tracks app and we were seeing like how often we went up and down the hill, like what our average speed was. Drew got up over 100 kilometers an hour. I got the we fucking ripped, man. Like we were shredding. It was crazy. It was like another one of the most fun days of my life. We did this run called Eagle Creek where you literally like ride over a frozen river, but the way rivers freeze, they kind of like flow as they freeze. So you ride through like it's like rapids. You're like riding on the rapids, but it's all snow covered. It's the best.
Damn.
It's the most fun thing in the whole world, and anyone who's never been needs to go.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, no one's ever said that before. Also, the X Games were this weekend. Holy man. Whoo! Dusty Hendrickson, I think. Some 17-year-old dude who's like his first X Games. He was like not supposed to be there. Double gold. Like went absolutely nuts. 17-year-old kid was insane.
That's sick. It would be crazy to be super successful at 17 or 18.
Yeah, there was it him?
I would accept it at 36. I'm not 36 yet, but I would accept it at 36.
I'll take it. It was him. I can't remember. I think it was him. And he was saying that he wants to go to like the NCAA for baseball, but he's taken a year to do snowboarding instead.
Just a little bit of talent, hey?
Yeah, pretty good.
And I wanted to update you on a story we previously discussed, which was me not being able to jump off a building in virtual reality.
Yep.
I would like to update that I can now effortlessly kill myself in virtual reality. Yeah. No, it took a little bit to trick my mind, but I just played a game where you have to shoot yourself in the head. So I think this is really pushing me in. It's really
fast steps very quickly.
Pushing me in the right direction, I think. Next, it'll be like, all right, overdose on pills. And it'll be just like, man, this game's realistic. Damn.
Girlfriend dumps you. Like, I didn't even know I was dating someone in this game.
Yeah, crazy, man. Well, I guess I'll jump off this building. It's still like I get like a fucked up feeling in my stomach, but I can do it now. And it's like,
run us through the scenario. What was it like? You walk up to the edge of the building.
Well, so you get up there, the elevator door opens and there's a plank, and you walk up there, and what was happening in my mind was that when I went to take the step off the plank was just what?
But what is the point of this whole game? Is this the same game that you've ended up shooting yourself in, or is that a separate
Different game. Yeah, no, different game.
Is the whole point of this game to ride an elevator and then jump off a building?
Yeah, and there's another level where you can like fly around.
So it's,
But
it's like one of those like, explore the VR games. It's not like an actual game.
Right, but it's mostly about like walk out on this plank because you're gonna feel like you're way up in the air, and it messes up your stomach. And so my mind wasn't letting me take the step, and it was actually like comical now that I look back, like how hard it was for me to like take the step. But it's all around you, like you know.
Yeah.
And then I did it, and I was just like, all right, fuck, I did it. And then now I do it all the time just to remind myself.
Nice. Yeah, I got conned into one of those virtual realities before it was like real at K-Days.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever seen those? Like, do you ever go to the carnival or whatever your local listener, your whatever your Klondike
fair?
Days is,
Yeah.
the Calgary Stampede or the carnival or whatever, where the sideshow comes through town and the big cyclone and the Ferris wheel and all
that same group of rides goes from one city to the next.
Yeah, the same group of rides and the same dirty dudes who put them together. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I always love that people freak out about Stampede. I'm like, it's the same rides, dude. Look at the names are the same. They're the same rides.
Yeah. Guess why they're not on the same week?
Yeah, take a shot. You ever notice that the clown symbol looks really similar?
Yeah.
So what the fuck is that? Oh yeah, so
Virtual
there's
reality.
like this big booth and there's all these people and they're like wearing these goggles and they're like screaming and they're doing whatever, and then it's like, oh yeah, come like check out our virtual reality, and you're like, okay, cool. So it's like $7 or whatever, and you pay and you do the thing and you put the thing on. It's like, all right, we're gonna walk you through like a tutorial. All right, you're gonna walk around this corner and a zombie's gonna jump out and then you guys all scream. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And then it like walked you through the tutorial. It was like, all right, that's the end of it. But the whole tutorial made it look like everyone was having fun and like going crazy.
Oh.
So it was just like a trick to get more people to pay to come do it.
Man, that's
bullshit tutorial for like 5 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty impressive right now. What I've been playing around with. It's pretty insane. The like experience stuff like that where you're just sort of like going through a place is pretty crazy, but some of the games are pretty nuts too. Like,
yeah, it's really interesting. Did we talk? Fuck, I can't remember if this was on the podcast or you or what, but I had a conversation about this with someone about like how your brain processes stuff. But like, it's really interesting that like full knowledge, you're in your living room with a thing on your head, like you completely set it all up yourself, put it on, but because of the sensory natural reaction of your brain to your eye connection, even with that knowledge embedded in there, your brain's like, this is actually real, and all the stuff that I think is fake.
That's what was messing me up about the plank. I'm like, I know that I'm in my house,
but all your sensories are still acting as though it's real.
Yeah. Like I was going to step off and my mind was stopping me from doing it. Like, shit.
Yeah. It's really the only time I think I've ever actively had access to like both of my brains. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like where you have access to like the sensory brain, you can see like your own reaction time, like doing things. But then you have a full other brain that's like a cognitive reality brain of like what's going on and like, okay, I'm being manipulated and there's a system and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's like a really weird way to have your mind function.
Totally, man. Totally. Speaking of games, have you been following the GameStop stuff?
Oh yeah, you betcha.
So I have written in my notes, I was like, I want to hear a bro explaining it.
Oh God, you want to hear my version of what's
going on? Yeah, I want to hear a bro explaining it because I saw a few of your posts and I was like, it's almost like football. He's excited.
Man, okay. Well, I've also been looking forward to that day since I was like 14 years old. like literally, I remember the day in grade 9 social studies class when our teacher, Mr. Cleve, explained to us how the stock market worked and like what happened with the crash in 1929 and how it was all like basically like buyer influenced.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, well, it's just gonna do it again. Like, it's gonna happen again. And then I started learning about like shell corporations and like all that bullshit. And I was like, oh, so they're just like lying and manipulating it on their own? Like, why doesn't everyone just like counteract what they do? Like, that seems like what would happen. And then obviously, the more you learn about it as you become an adult, you're like, oh, it's because they've rigged the system in their own favor. That's why. And then finally, someone found a loophole to do what everyone would assume you would do when you just get the basic version of what the stocks are, right? Because when someone tells you what the stocks are, we're like, oh, you buy to predict like how good a company is doing. And then the more people that buy into a company, the more that company is worth because more people have confidence that it's going to do well. And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, why wouldn't you just kind of make sure that everything's bought like evenly? And then it's like, oh, well, because some people fucking pump and dump, so they buy a ton of stocks to inflate it to make everyone else think that it's worth a bunch of money when it actually isn't, and then they fucking throw all their stocks out the window and then leave a bunch of people holding the bags like, oh shit, this it's not worth anything, I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
So as you become older and you learn more and more how it works, you find out that there's a thing called shorting, which essentially there's a long convoluted way of how it works where you have to like borrow stocks from someone else and then promise to pay them back in a hope that you can sell them for more than they're worth. Anyways, whole long story. But basically, you're betting that the price is going to go down is the angle that you're taking on it. And so what companies are trying to do is basically make companies seem like they're going down by like shorting them a whole bunch and making it seem like it's about to go out of business, and then they can sell their short stocks. And a bunch of people like kind of figured that out, and they were like, well, that's bullshit, because they started like selling more shorts than there was stocks in the company.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, wait, so some nerd went on Reddit and was like, hey, so these guys have been basically lending out more than there are actual stocks to each other to like sell them at a profit back later to the market.
Right.
So if we all just buy the real stocks, then the shorts won't actually be worth less. Like the stocks that they've shorted won't be worth less, they'll be worth more. And then the like buyers can force them to act on their shorts and basically get their money back. So the idea is to inflate the stocks enough and hold them long enough that the shorts have to sell so that they have to pay back the stocks that they borrowed at 100 and plus some percent of the actual value of the stocks. So they're going to be paying back the loss plus also the fake loss on top of that.
Ooh.
So like they're losing double money for every stock that goes up, which is awesome. So like, yeah, when you see the stock goes from like 50 to 300 or whatever, it didn't go up 6 times. It went more than that because they also have to pay back their shorts, but they're also trying to like now manipulate the market and shut down like private buyers from getting them and like do all their schemy shit anyways. And just like pretend that we didn't notice.
But it's not those guys losing money though. That's the part that sucks in all of this. Like,
yeah, well, at the end of the day, yeah, it's the people
they're losing someone's money. They're not losing their own money. So it's like, yeah.
But the thing is, these guys, because that's the other thing, people are like, oh, these are like me investor, blah blah blah. Which kind of, yes, I guess there can be pensions and shit, whatever. But like a lot of these investors specifically are like big investors who don't even look at you unless you're coming at them with $1 million in funding anyways. So it's like it's not the poor who are getting fucked by this. It's like these
it's people, it's people's like pension funds. Like that people have been paying into for decades.
But they're not in these, like that's what I'm saying. Like these
Yeah,
specific ones.
I think they are though. I think like the way everything's like piled on top of each other, just like how mortgages were packaged and resold and blah blah. I think the same kind of stuff is probably happening there. But really, it's like regular people that are losing their money while like super rich people are still getting bonuses and shit, which sucks. But it's pretty cool to see like the internet mobilize against someone.
Yeah. But that's the other, like, I don't know. There's still part of me that's like, even at that point, it's like,
It's like
you have
righting a
enough
wrong
money
in the
that you're
market.
like involved in hedge funds that like, your life's probably okay. If your money is tied up in a hedge fund somehow, you probably have benefits and a pension and a career. And
The pension is the money though
yeah,
that's being lost. That's
yeah,
the
but
shitty
I
part.
mean, fucked anyway. Like that's the other thing. Like the pension fund is already being drained. Like there's not enough people putting into the pension fund for what we're getting out of it. The whole system was fucking corrupt.
No, that's different though.
Fails.
That's
It
like
doesn't matter.
that's like the government one you're talking about. I'm talking about like people's private pensions and shit. That's where they're
Oh.
losing. But whatever. I guess, easy come, easy go. Dude, did you hear that okay, Leo Messi plays for Barcelona. His contract, I guess, hadn't previously leaked before that he signed in 2017. It leaked this week. So, okay, to put this in context.
Oh, sorry. Also, disclaimer: I have no idea what I'm talking about. That could all be wrong.
Me neither. Yeah, I'm totally. Last week I was talking about Match.com. I think women also pay for it, but that just makes it doubly desperate. I went on a whole rant about how
Lionel Messi's contract got leaked from 2017.
Okay, so to put it into context, Mike Trout makes 33 and a quarter million per year. That's baseball.
Yeah.
Ron James makes 39 million per year. That's basketball.
Yeah.
Soccer, Leo Messi makes $167 million per year.
Woo.
Dude, soccer, like that's the difference between playing some sports and like a true global sport. This guy is making so much. The article I read, like very adorably, included Connor McDavid on the list at 12 something. I was like, he's making 12 and then also 33 and 39. But yeah, he like people are like, I look at the NBA and the MLB, but I guess more so the NBA and think like, man, I can't believe they're making that much money. But holy, European soccer quietly, maybe not quietly, but to like the unsuspecting North American, quietly like, holy shit, $167 million per year. And that's only his contract from 2017 till the end of this season. Like he's been making that money.
Yeah. I also heard like soccer is pretty crazy that you can just like buy players. Like there's no regular, like, in like sports over here, you get like contracts and like there's salary caps and limit. Like there, you can literally just be like, I don't want to trade for him. I will give you $400 million if
they don't do trades. Yeah, it's an interesting.
Yeah, it's like they pay the other club to give them the player, and then they also give the player this insane contract. It's like, how much money are you motherfuckers making to get like Emirates written on your jersey and play these games on whatever BBC or whatever the fuck?
Dude, Leo Messi wanted to leave Barcelona this past summer. And there was a buyout clause in his contract where the team wanting to get him would have to pay this, it was $800 million or something like that.
Yeah. Like what?
And there was a team willing in theory to pay it.
Of course. That's so crazy. Like how much is he worth? Like what is the equity coming off of Lionel Messi for a club? Like in
a lot, ton. Jersey sales alone is probably enormous.
If it's worth spending $800 million before his contract, even just to get him over, like that's crazy. He must be bringing income of insane amounts.
Yeah. Well, he's a global superstar, right?
Yeah. I saw like a video of him like driving a car through the street or something, and it was like mobbed with. It was like he couldn't drive like he wasn't even driving. I guess he was in a car
Yeah.
that was being driven, and people just knew that it was his. And it was like a sea of humans just around the whip.
He's got to be a billionaire, which is it's funny because his contract was obviously private. So no one, everyone, it was just everyone's best guess what he was making. And like, you see the numbers actually, and it's like, whoa, dude,
Yeah,
that's so much money
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
to be making that like year after year. Oh,
Yeah. I also this is a fun this is unrelated but kind of related, just like in the perspective of how much money is how much money. I was
mm-hmm.
like thinking about that, and because that $2,000 stimulus check thing in America, I was thinking about like how much money that would cost.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just tried to kind of do some quick Google research to figure out like numbers and shit like that. And America really just has too many people.
Man,
So,
even the numbers on Serb and stuff, you look at how much that stuff actually costs, it's like,
yeah.
whoa.
Well, because so we have 33 million or 35 million people.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. But I just looked up these numbers in the United States. So the middle class makes up about 50% of their population. So it's like whatever, however the fuck it's laid out. It's like 10% of the richest, then 50, and then the last 20 are poor. And then the median salary is $77,000 a year for the middle class. So like the middle of that 50% is about 77,000. So if you were to pay the middle class's salaries for 1 year, so that's household income. There's 122 million households in America. So you divide that by 2, there's 61 million middle class households at $77,000 a year. If you paid 1 year's salary for Americans, it would be $4.5 trillion.
Yeah, that's too many people.
Like you just so I was really because I was thinking about like this universal basic income thing and like all that stuff. And it's like, bro, $4.5 trillion to pay a salary for. I mean, 77,000 obviously is a bit much, and UBI is not going to be that huge, but
it will still be up there.
Yeah, if the bailout, so there was like Melvin Capital was bailed out with this whole GME thing, and it was like allegedly like a $2.6 billion bailout or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which if you gave that bailout to the middle class, each household would receive $45.
That's crazy.
It's like like fuck the rich, but also like even if you took all their money and gave it to us, we'd still all be poor. Like,
yeah,
too many. There's too many of us.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah.
I think they should unleash some kind of pandemic.
Yeah, they should do some, maybe build in the lab, give it to a bat.
Yeah.
Make people ingest it somehow.
Yes. I think we're onto something.
We're pro COVID now.
Yeah. You know what I'm really excited for? I'm excited
pro
that
COVID podcast. Fuck you, world.
Yeah. I'm excited that the people out there are going to get to see a bunch of like goofy ass clips from our different shows, because I finally got my ass into gear and found a bunch of clips from our previous episodes. So we're going to get out there and show the people, you know,
Here we go. Instagram's
sometimes
gonna
we
be
talk
popping.
about things.
Follow at YEG Podcast.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Where can people find you, Mr. Forden?
ComedyAF.com. Everything's there. All of it.
Yes. At Kersey is one of the places you can find me. But that's who cares? That's it. That's all. Say goodbye to the people, Alex.
Bye, people.